In the heart of Kansas City, there's a cafe called Corazon, a lively homage to Latin culture. Despite facing hurdles as minorities, their owners have crafted a vibrant sanctuary for the Latin and indigenous community. Through education and a fusion of traditional and innovative flavors, they've remained authentic. Despite challenges of opening and operating a business, they've adapted, showcasing what the future of cafes can be: diverse, inclusive, and brimming with heart. Welcome to Café Corazón. What's good, ladies and gentlemen? It is your boy, CICCY, back at it again with another episode of the Voices of Value show. We are back at it again with a guest that's been on the show before, ladies and gentlemen. And it was a fun conversation, but if you guys remember correctly, the audio was not popping. I forgot to bring the batteries for my mics, so we had to use the MacBook audio, but you know, we made it work. We still had some people appreciate the conversation. So today we're in her establishment. We're in a new space, on a couch again, but in a new establishment, which is Café Corazón. And the co-owner of Café Corazón is, go ahead and introduce yourself to the people.
My name is Dulcinea Herrera, and I'm the co-owner of Café Corazón, Kansas City's first Latin and indigenous coffee shop.
I love that. Say that again. That sounded great. Say that again. Casey's first
Latino and indigenous coffee shop.
I love it. And I love the what do they call that in like a gaming emote? Like a emote sound or something like that. That's what that sounded like.
Ooh, I like that. Okay.
Anyways, first off, love the earrings. The jewelry's popping today. Can we get some like details around the jewelry we have on today, just for the camera one time?
Well, not even gonna lie to you, I'm balling on a budget. I'm one of those people, so I think this was like literally $4.
That's a win.
Don't hate me.
What about the earrings?
They were cheap too. They came with a set, so I just said
it's about how you put them on. It's not about the price. All right.
Yeah, it's how you style it.
There we go. And I'm trying to style myself a little bit better. I dressed up a little bit for Dulce cool today. I tried my best, so we're here. First and foremost, thank you for making time for the show once again. This episode, we really want to dive into a little bit of the history, but talk a little bit more about you and the thought process you've had to go through and the changes you've had to go through in continuing to co-own and operate the Café Corazón location. So before we do that, let's get a quick rundown of your background. Where'd you grow up? How'd you end up in Kansas City? Where'd you go to school? And then how did we get to Café Corazón?
Okay, cool. So yeah, I actually grew up in New Mexico in the mountains. We didn't have much. We farmed and we hunt. We were super secluded from everything, right? So when we came here, me and my parents, we wanted to do something extra, and we always loved coffee. So we were like, okay, let's dive into coffee. Let's do some research, see what's going on. We started to realize that most coffee comes from Latin America, but nobody ever pays homage to that, and nobody ever really talks about it. When you go to all of these big corporations, you know what name it is. I'm not going to say the name, but they just take from cultures and they don't give back. So that was something where we said, okay, Kansas City doesn't have a Latin indigenous coffee shop. So we're going to change that, and we're going to hope people enjoy it. We didn't know if people were going to enjoy it, to be honest. So we started it, and we now have people from all over the world who come in here, different backgrounds, different cultures, and we just really want to provide a safe space for people to learn and educate them about coffee.
Absolutely. And there's three questions that immediately pop up right there. And the number one question is, I think a lot of people might have a baseline understanding of what you mean by when you say a Latin company or, a Latin founded. But when you say Latin indigenous, what are we talking about when we say indigenous? Kind of break that down a little bit more for the audience who maybe hasn't been to Café Corazón, doesn't understand the culture of the space, doesn't know the history of the family and the backgrounds. Yeah,
definitely. So I am half Argentinian, half Mescalero Apache and Mexican. So those are my two parents put together. That's their heritage. So the reason we throw indigenous in is because my dad and me are indigenous, but also most Latins are indigenous and they either don't realize it or they don't want to accept it. If you go to a lot of places in South America, unfortunately, if you're indigenous, they might call you an Indio or they might kind of put you down for it. For example, I have cousins growing up where they were darker and they would play in the yard, and my aunties, my tias would say, "Mija, don't go out there. Your skin's going to get darker and you're going to look like a little Indio," which is so terrible that we constantly see this European idea of beauty and everything that comes with it. And we neglect our indigenous roots, which is who we are, which is a lot of the things that we eat, we drink every day are indigenous. Even avocado, that's an indigenous word, but we don't know that. We're not educated on that. So I always bring up indigenous and Latin because if you are Latin, you probably have indigenous roots.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And when you think about education, or when you guys think about how you are trying to educate your customers or really just your new friends, because one thing I appreciate about Café Corazón is when you come in here, everyone from people who are just running around, picking up stuff, moving around a lot, they always make time to say hello or smile or have a conversation, or whether you're at the cash register and you're talking to whoever's behind the counter taking care of you, they're always kind and, complimenting things you have on and starting conversation about where'd you get that shirt, anything to start a conversation with the customers. And I think you guys do a good job with that. How do you guys focus on the education aspect? What does that look like in action in real life?
For sure. So based on our knowledge, right, and our morality, we try to instill that in our staff, which is a big thing because the staff are the face of the coffee shop. If me and my family aren't here, they're here. So they have to know the background. A lot of our products, a lot of our coffee, our food, everything has a story and a reason why. So whether it be the empanadas that are Argentinian from my mom's roots, or pinole, which is blue corn, that's in our churro latte, that's indigenous, we want our staff to know that. So if someone asks, they can answer correctly. That's really important. And I believe the reason why we've done well in this business is because we always had our why. And although you always have to constantly change things in a business, you always have to maneuver. It doesn't matter what you're doing. We never changed our why.
I love that. Yeah, I think the number one way that any business really functions and lasts for a long time is understanding their purpose for why they're showing up each day. Like you said, there might be new marketing tactics you might need to try. There might be new ingredients you might need to try. You might have to introduce, a different just products, whatever it might be. But if you always hold true to your roots and you're able to emanate that in your energy and in your education to your customers and staff, then you always keep going on an upward trajectory. So the second thing I wanted to ask you is when you look up your guys' brand, when you look up your company, the word inclusivity is always included somewhere in there, or diversity. When you guys think about the culture you've created at Café Corazón, when I come in here, I see all different types of cultures, all different types of backgrounds, all different types of people in different industries that work in different spaces and backgrounds. How are you guys able to create that energy? Because there's plenty of other coffee shops in Kansas City that I love and I enjoy, but I don't feel that same diversity in the space. So it might be a dope space from a coffee shop, from the vision, and might taste good, and the staff might be awesome. But I'd be like, damn, I'm the only Negro up in this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? So, which doesn't have to be a big deal, but sometimes it is. You want to feel involved. You want to feel like there's community, and you want to smile at people. And it's not that you can't smile, but y'all get my point. Anyways, how have you created that culture in Café Corazón? Because I think that is one reason a lot of all people come here, is because they see all people here.
Right. I would say people probably feel comfortable here because it's either their culture and they're experiencing it again, or it's not their culture and they're learning about another one. I feel like people come here for the experience, because the products are the experience. There's things on the menu here that you're not going to find anywhere else. Even not even just in the Kansas City, but might be in the U.S. or in the world, because we create a lot of our own things, right? So I think that's number one. Number two, I'm a very spiritual person, and I'm always cleansing the energy, and I'm always welcoming good things in, and being open-minded to everything. And always saying bad energy needs to go. that
Get it out of here. Get it out of here.
So I don't care where you're from, as long as you bring good energy, that's all we need here.
And the funny thing is, you guys do have, actually describe the space that we're in today. Like try to, especially the front space where customers are. I know we have this back space that we're in right now.
For sure.
But describe the front space, because what I was about to say is you guys also have a big old door to get that negative energy out of here. Yes. If you guys ever have it in here, it's just like, open that door real quick. Let's get it up out of here. So just try to describe the space and how you guys kind of fell upon, securing this lease and coming here and deciding like this is the right area to be in for the second or first. This is the second location.
This is the second location, yeah. So what we do is me and my parents will always walk around in neighborhoods we like. That's how we found this place. We said, we like the Crossroads. Let's just walk around and see if there's something available. So we found this space. However, it was hard getting in this space. The struggle was real. And the reason I say that is because when we opened Westport, our first location, nobody wanted to give us the opportunity anywhere else to open a coffee shop. Once they found out we were Latin, they were like, no, we're not going to let you in here. We even had someone tell us oh, you're going to have piñatas in there, which if we did, who cares, right? But how disrespectful is that
off top,
to automatically assume that? So the only reason we actually got Westport is because a car drove through it, and my dad knows how to fix things. And he fixed it. That's the only reason we got that space. So once we got that space, it was easier to find another. However, when we were in this space, in all honesty, I really think the city tried to take advantage of us. Because, for example, my dad would do work on things. An inspector would come in and say, you need to change that. And then my dad would change it. And they would come back and say, you need to change it back the way it was. They would do that with so much. It was just for money. That's really what it was. So it took us actually 2 years to open this space. Would have been open sooner, but unfortunately. However, what the space looks like now that we're here, now that we did all the work. A little background, my dad has been doing construction since he was 15. He's a hard worker. So everything in this space he built. From the tables, the chairs, to this right here that you're looking at. Those of you who are just audio, it's this big, beautiful wooden wall. But everything really was just a love of labor in here. The space is big in the Crossroads.
It sure is, yeah.
We have
it's a very large space.
Super big. We have our coffee roasting. We have a huge garage door in the front. We have a bunch of cool events like First Fridays we do here. Super popular. And just downtown vibes. So it's really easily accessible, walkable.
I walked by here one time during First Fridays, and I don't think I'm tripping, but I seen mad people in here dancing together. Am I tripping, or is that a event that you guys host, or is that just something that's common that happens? Can you kind of explain? Because I didn't come in because I was I ain't trying to get roped into dancing. So I was nah, I'm going to go ahead and keep walking. But it looks like a vibe in there. Is that an event you guys do, or is that just... Or was I just walking by on a good day and people were just happy because there's 10 people dancing together?
So for First Fridays, sometimes we'll have a DJ. We always play bomb music, so it's fun. But even this coming May on First Friday, we've done it before. We'll do it again. Aladun Dance Company. They're Afro-Latino owned company. They come and they'll do salsa classes in the back.
That's what it was.
That's exactly probably
what I didn't want to say salsa and then be wrong, but I thought it was salsa.
It was. You were correct.
I was like, that definitely looked like some salsa going on in here. So that's dope, man. Yeah. There's definitely always good vibes at Café Corazón. I know you said you just shared some of the challenges you had opening the Westport location, some of the challenges you had opening this location. I'm sure those are two of them, but in every operation, when people open a business, there are some oh fuck moments, oh fuck, this about to be hard, or oh fuck, I don't know what I'm gonna do. What's a oh fuck moment that you or your parents overcame outside of the two you just mentioned that you're and how did you adapt in that moment? So you might have to think for a second, but an oh fuck moment, oh shit, all the coffee that was supposed to come this week for this order didn't come, or if you need to brainstorm for a second, take your time. But an oh fuck moment that you guys adapted and made it through.
Man, there's a lot of oh fuck moments, but I would say a really big oh fuck moment was when COVID came, because the CDC, which is in charge of telling you information as like a restaurant, what to do, they didn't really have information on what to do. And there was grants going out for businesses to help them with COVID, but honestly, there wasn't a lot. Like, it was really hard to get a good one. So we had just kind of opened, because we opened in 2019. COVID happened 2020. So we were like, oh, fuck. Like, here we are. We just opened. Like, what's going to happen? People aren't going to be able to have this experience. Luckily, people are obsessed with coffee. So we actually did fine. I always joke and say I'm a drug dealer because I'm dealing coffee. I'm a legal drug dealer, okay?
Facts. It is legal. It is legal.
We found that coffee isn't really... it is affected during COVID at times like that, but people still need it. It's still a necessity for people.
Oh, for sure. Definitely in the States. And I feel like I'm sure it's prevalent in other cultures across the world, but like... I'm not saying I've traveled everywhere, but from where I've traveled, I don't ever remember coffee being like a massive like necessity, except for like in the Western Hemisphere, specifically in the States. Like, even, again, didn't spend mad time there or anything, but even in Europe, I wasn't like, it didn't feel like I won't survive if I don't have it. It felt more like this is cultural and we enjoy doing this, but not like, oh my God, I will die.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is honestly a good thing. Like, and the fact that it's also like, you know, outside of the pandemic, I think one of the amazing things about having a cafe is that it's a third space where people are like coming to like sometimes to relax, sometimes to work, sometimes to connect. Yeah, so it's a very like there's very strong emotional connections with coffee shops once you develop it. For sure. And it doesn't mean that, you know, like business is hard at the end of the day. It doesn't guarantee it's going to like anything, but it sure is good to have like, what do they call them? Just people who are just totally committed to like supporting a business. And I feel like Café Corazón has like community behind you guys. And that says a lot about the energies that you guys create here. So I love that. Thank you. So you're an artist, a master artist is what I would say. You're really talented in many different ways, but what I'm familiar the most with is your, I guess you could say paintings. I don't know how you create these pieces of art. They could be paint, could be crayons, could be color, but I know that I've seen your pieces before and they're amazing. So thank you. What's one piece that has brought you the most, let me reframe that. What was the most emotional piece to create? So while you were creating it, you just felt a lot of strong emotions. There was like, whether good or sad or anger or whatever it might be, like when you reflect on a piece of art you've created, maybe it's one of the pieces in here or in your apartment, but that just made you feel a lot of emotion.
I would say definitely I have this painting I did called Ancestor's Cloak. And it is an indigenous woman, and she has an indigenous blanket over her, which is really like emotional in our culture. It means a lot to have a blanket, especially if you gift it to someone. It's like gifting comfort. So in her cloak, I put gold leaf in it to represent like her divinity and how our ancestors are divine and that we should honor them. That one was emotional because people don't really talk about indigenous people, you know? It's almost like a sector in America that's been forgotten, and we're still here. People just don't see us. So that one was emotional for me for sure.
Yeah, one thing I love about what you guys do here and what you do is you definitely speak up on that, you know, like a reminder, we are still here. This is still important. We can still hold on to our roots. We can still hold on to the culture. Like at the end of the day, I think people are so eased of forget, like, okay, that's a part of my history, but like nobody else is talking about it, so why am I talking about it? And it's like, and their parents might have felt the same way, so there's not a connection there. So when someone like you or a business or a podcast or whatever it might be is reintroduced into their life to like bring that passion and the purpose behind why you should connect with your roots or with your culture, or maybe it's not someone's personal roots, but why there's so much value in this culture or in this culture, it becomes much more easier for people to be like, oh, I get it now. I get why this support. I get why this has had a large impact on the States, or I get how this had a large impact on Argentina's history, or on Mexico's history, or on New Mexico's history, or wherever, you know? Sure. And so I love that you are so passionate about speaking about that. What is a simple, I guess, action? What's a simple action you wish you would have implemented earlier in your life that you feel like could have prevented you from running into certain obstacles or speed bumps along the way? We can keep it specific to business, or you can go into relationships or artwork or modeling, whatever you want to go into. But from a business perspective, to keep it easy, what's one simple action you would have implemented earlier on in how you operate this location or Westport that might have prevented you from, going over certain speed bumps you've had to go over?
Man, that's a hard one, because in a way, every speed bump we went through honestly taught us something so that needed to be taught. Like, I believe that the universe, God, whatever you call it, puts things in your life because you need to learn it. But I'm trying to think of something that, there's so many. There's so many old fucks, right? Yeah. When you own a business and you never did it before, there's so many old fucks. I would say, I think the hardest part truly about owning a business is the employees, because everything can be controlled, right? You can control anything with numbers. You can control ordering, all that good stuff. But when it comes to management, that's hard.
As humans,
Humans are hard because they're unpredictable, right? And you want to do the best for them always, but they also have to see that you're doing the best for them. So I would say learning how to manage humans.
Absolutely.
I wish I knew that earlier, because that helped me in every part of my life. It helped me in my relationships. It helped me in myself. It helped me in my art, my modeling, my business. Once I started to learn that everyone learns differently, and that you have to kind of talk to people differently based on who they are and really cater to them in that way, that helped me grow as a person.
I love it. Yeah. Well, I'm only going to ask you a few more questions because I want to make sure the vibes get popping back in here. I know you said y'all playlist be booming. We got the playlist turned off for this podcast. I want to make sure the customers enjoy the vibes as they roll into the rest of the evening. So, when you were growing up, did you ever imagine that you'd be married to a professional soccer player from Brazil?
No, definitely not. I did not. I love my husband.
With an amazing beard consistently, amazing hairstyle, beautiful eyes, and a great voice.
Yeah, he's gorgeous. My husband's amazing person. I always wanted a person like him. I just didn't know he was going to be a soccer player professionally from Brazil. But yeah, they're actually about to go to the finals, basically the World Cup of indoor soccer. Yeah. This Sunday, Kenzie Comet, shout out Christian Anderaus.
There we go. Had a game-winning goal a few days ago.
Yes, he scored 3 goals and he won the game with his goal.
That was very exciting. It's always nice to see you guys, see the mutual support that goes on. I see him in here, interacting with the customers, having great conversations, meeting people, connecting with people, showing love here. And then I see you at his game, support, going crazy, always supporting. And it's just, it's always good to see people killing it in their own lanes and then getting that mutual support from their relationships. It's just good energy to have in the city in general,
And we do very different things. Like, I'm an artist, he's an athlete. Yeah. I'm a business owner, so is he. He coaches, he has a coaching program. But yeah, my husband is great. I love him. A lot of my growth I owe to him because he's just so well-traveled, open-minded person that he opened my mind in a way I didn't know I could.
I love it.
Yeah, and I always carry a fat head of him at the games. You'll see me in the crowd.
You will see her. You will see her. So definitely check him out. The last question of today is going to be, it's your last day on Earth.
Oh, damn.
You've lived as long as you've wanted to live, 105 years old, 110, 120. You never know with all these new drugs out here helping people live forever. You never know, man. We might be living till 300 in 10 years. But anyways, you've lived the life that you've wanted to live. You've grown Café Corazón to where you've wanted to, wherever you want it to grow to.
That's
you know,
right.
and you've had your kids and your grandkids, and life is just blissful. But your great great grandkids are sitting in your feet. They look up at you and they're like, "Great great grandma, give me one piece of advice on how to live a good life." What are you going to tell them?
I would say be as authentic as the fuck. Do what your heart and your mind and don't even do what your heart and your mind. Do what your soul tells you to do, because your soul will guide you. I truly believe that. Like, just live the life you want to live. Don't listen to what anyone else has to say, because people love you and they might give you advice, but you still, at the end of the day, you need to make your mistakes, and you also need to make your goals and what you want in your life for you, not because of anybody else. Just live authentically, man.
I love it. I love it. Most underrated drink on your guys' menu? Go.
Oh, damn. The yerba mate.
Ooh.
Try that. We're the only ones in the Midwest that serve it.
Producer Malad, shout out Huberman. But anyways, and then most underrated food item on your guys' menu.
Oh, dang. All the food people get. My favorite is a fugaceta empanada. It's like a cheese, caramelized onion. Ooh, it's good.
Very fire. Now we're craving.
Delicious. Yeah, it's that cheese pull when you...
It does pull apart too. The cheese starts dropping. It's amazing. If that didn't make you guys want to pop in here, then me looking you in your eyes and tell you to bring your goddamn ass into Café Corazón. Go ahead and show up. This is Dulcinea. I'm Collis. Thank you guys for having us.
Thank you, Collis.
5-star review. Share the podcast.
Ratings.